Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's civil defense put on high alert. Nationwide mock drills across states on May 7th. New Delhi also formally asks Asian Development Bank ADB to stop funding to Pakistan. Russian President Vladimir Putin calls Prime Minister Narendra Modi, strongly condemns the terror attack in Pahalgam, India. Rajnath Singh discusses defense cooperation and regional security with his Japanese counterpart. The leaders also emphasize the need for enhanced collaboration in the fight against terror. And conservatives of Germany's designated Chancellor Friedrich Merz and centre-left Social Democrats formally signed coalition contract on the eve of launching their new government. India's Home Ministry has asked several states to conduct mock drills for items for effective civil defence on 7th of May. Following measures will be undertaken, and these are: 1. The operationalization of air raid warning sirens; 2. The training of civilians, students on civil defence aspects to protect themselves in the event of a hostile attack; 3. Provision of crash blackout measures; 4th, provision for early camouflaging of vital plants or installations; and 5th, updation of evacuation plan and its rehearsal. So, India's Home Ministry ordering for the nationwide mock drills on 7th of May. And DD India's Dibendu Mondal joins us on the phone line for more on the story. Dibendu, can you tell us the key aspects of this civil defence training, and how will outreach be made to the public? Also, which segments of the public India is seeking cooperation from?
Well, Tanvi, this is a regular, perhaps a drill that is conducted among students and civic volunteers that are already registered with the government to train locals as well as, different societal groups in case of an attack or a hostile attack that comes at a time, So therefore, the MHA has called for this mock drill to be conducted on the 7th of May. And this comes, Tanvi, remember, this is very, very important because this comes at a time when there is this heightened tension between India and Pakistan. So, of course, this is very, very crucial. And as well as, this is a measure that the MHA is taking to ensure that each citizen of India is prepared. And also the security forces are well prepared and the civil society is well prepared, and they do know about these drills that are generally conducted during a hostile attack. So therefore, the air raid warning system that will be activated because these sirens have not been activated for a very, very long time. So therefore, activating these air raid warning systems and checking how to, sound these alarm systems when there is if and when there is a hostile attack. So therefore, these, and also, the training of students is very, very crucial because they could, further educate parents. There could be drills that are conducted in schools by the civic volunteers, by teachers, training students of students as well as college students. As to how, the first line of defense in the civil society can be carried out in case of a hostile attack. Therefore, and also, training and mock drills. There are written procedures for the paramilitary forces that guard our important installations and plants. And therefore, activating those, giving further informations and trainings for the paramilitary forces and the security establishment that guards those important buildings as well as institutions and important plants. And by plant, I mean, there are these, the nuclear plants of India, there are these important chemical plants and different other industrial plants which are critical to India. Those plants could be how they can be protected, camouflaged, as well as safeguarded if there is a hostile attack. So therefore, these are all preparedness as well as precautionary measures that are being undertaken by the MHA because you know that after the attack on innocent civilians in Pahalgam's Baisaran Meadow, there have been tensions that have been going on between India and Pakistan, and therefore this is a precautionary measure that the government of India is undertaking on the 7th of May to ensure that each one of us are prepared for any eventuality.
Okay, and rehearsal of evacuation plans is also going to be undertaken. If you could tell our viewers, what will this involve?
Tanvi, this perhaps could be that, there are in the main installations, in the secretariats, in different, these important installations, how evacuations and what evacuation strategy that the government of India will take in terms of evacuating citizens and also from the bordering districts, if and when there is any hostile attack, how these areas could be easily evacuated with no time, and therefore such rehearsals will be taking place in various parts of the country. This will be carried out by the security personnel and paramilitary forces, including the NDRF, the other paramilitary forces that comes under the MHA, as well as the state police. And the states have been advised by MHA to conduct these and also, to rebuild on the evacuation plans of buildings, of societies, of villages and establishments that are around the border, as well as in important cities of India. So therefore, again, Tanvi, it is important for us to reiterate here, these are all precautionary measures that the government of India is taking in order to ensure that the citizens of this country are well prepared and the security establishment is well prepared for any eventuality if and when it comes, or if there is any hostile attack on the sovereign land of India.
Thank you very much, Dibendu Mondal, reporting on this story. Now, in a big development, India has appealed to the Asian Development Bank to stop funding to Pakistan. The Indian delegation, led by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, met ADB President Masato Kanda, where India's formal appeal was conveyed to the bank to stop funding for Pakistan. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also met the Finance Minister of Italy. Both leaders discussed creating international pressure on Pakistan. Russian President Vladimir Putin has called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi and strongly condemned the Pahalgam terror attack. President Putin conveyed deepest condolences on the loss of innocent lives and expressed full support to India in the fight against terrorism. He emphasized that the perpetrators of this heinous attack and their supporters must be brought to justice. Both leaders reiterated their commitment to further deepen India-Russia special and privileged strategic partnership. Prime Minister Modi conveyed greetings to President Putin on the celebration of the 80th anniversary of Victory Day and invited him for the annual summit to be held in India later in the year. India has officially stopped all trade with Pakistan, reinforcing that the decision will not affect the country's export sector or overall economy. Dr. Ajay Sahai, Director General and CEO of the Federation of Indian Export Organizations, assured businesses that the move presents an opportunity for India to explore new markets and expand trade boundaries.
We have virtually stopped all trade with Pakistan, and even if you look into the past, the trade has been minimal. In fact, in the last first 10 months of the fiscal year, between April to January, we had a trade of around less than $500 million. India's export was around $445 million, and import from Pakistan was less than $500,000. So there is nothing where it will impact Indian exports and Indian economy. The two products which we are exporting significantly are the organic chemicals and pharma, and India has the alternative markets available for both these products. We have a very vibrant domestic market, and I can assure the Indian industry that in any way they will not be impacted. Probably this will be an opportunity. They will diversify and look into some more lucrative market for their products.
Global ratings firm Moodys said in a note that a persistent increase in tensions could also impair Pakistan's access to external financing and pressure its foreign exchange reserves. It also said it sees India's macroeconomic conditions to be stable. Moodys said that a persistent increase in tensions could also impair Pakistan's access to external financing and pressure its foreign exchange reserves, which remain well below what is required to meet its external debt payment needs for the next few years. India's Defence Secretary met Prime Minister Narendra Modi earlier today, as per sources. Separate meetings are also being held between Prime Minister Modi and Chief of Air Staff Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, Navy Chief Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi at the Prime Minister's residence over the weekend. This follows a high-level meeting chaired by Prime Minister Modi earlier last week, which was attended by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan and 3 service chiefs. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval was also present at the meeting. Meanwhile, India has announced a series of measures, including putting the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance to send a strong message to Pakistan for its support to cross-border terrorism. India's Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Nirmala Sitharaman, like we told you, is on a visit to attend the annual meeting of the Asian Development Bank in Milan, Italy. On the sidelines of the ADB annual meeting, Finance Minister Sitharaman held a bilateral meeting with Masato Kanda, President of the Asian Development Bank. Sitharaman emphasized India's push for private sector-led growth backed by reforms like that of the GST, Goods and Services Tax, corporate tax cuts and infrastructure projects. She invited the ADB to explore new financing models in India. Kanda reaffirmed ADB's commitment to support India's development vision, inspired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's goal of a developed India, Viksit Bharat, by 2047. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today held bilateral meeting with his Japanese counterpart, General Nakatani, in New Delhi. Both sides exchanged views and ideas on the current regional and international security situation and discussed ways to further deepen bilateral defence cooperation. The two sides condemned terrorism in all forms and emphasized the need for enhanced collaboration and joint efforts to counter cross-border threats. General Nakatani expressed solidarity with India in the wake of the Pahalgam attack and offered full support to India.
I recall our meeting at Vientiane, Laos in November last year, where we decided to expand defense cooperation in industry, technology and interoperability between the armed forces. At the outset, I would like to thank the government of Japan for their strong expression of solidarity with India in the wake of the Pahalgam terrorist attack.
Further, Rajnath Singh noted that India shares a special strategic and global partnership with Japan.
Excellency, I take this opportunity to compliment you for your immense contribution in deepening of the Indo-Japan defense relations. You had earlier laid foundations for a strong bilateral defense partnership by concluding defense equipment and technical cooperation agreement and the protection of classified military information agreement.
Earlier, the visiting Japanese dignitary laid a wreath at the National War Memorial in New Delhi. The Japanese Defence Minister was also accorded a National Guard of Honour. India and Japan share a long-term friendship, which has further gained qualitative momentum after the elevation of this collaboration to special strategic global partnership in 2014. Defence and security are important pillars of ties between the two countries. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met Fukushiro Nukaga, the Speaker of House of Representatives of Japan, on Monday in Delhi. The Speaker was accompanied with his parliamentary colleagues and business delegation. The Indian minister thanked the Speaker for his expression of solidarity and support on the Pahalgam terrorist attack. Jaishankar also appreciated Nukaga's leadership in developing the natural relationship between India and Japan. Both leaders agreed to develop the agenda of increasing talent exchanges, enhancing business linkages and building technology partnership between the nation. You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen announces €500 million package to lure top researchers to Europe. And hard right, Eurosceptic George Simeon wins first round of Romania's presidential election.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. On to Europe now. To boost European science research, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announced on Monday a €500 million incentive package as Europe hopes to lure top US scientists disgruntled with President Donald Trump. Speaking at the Choose Europe for Science conference in Paris, Ursula said that the €500 million package aims to make Europe a magnet for researchers. She also said that she wanted EU member states to invest 3% of their gross domestic product in research and development by 2030. The announcement comes at a time when Trump administration is threatening to cut federal funding for Harvard and other US universities.
Science is an investment, and we need to offer the right incentives. This is why I can announce that we will put forward a new €500 million package for 2025 to 2027 to make Europe a magnet for researchers. This will help support the best and the brightest researchers and scientists from Europe and around the world. We aim to create a new 7-year super grant under the European Research Council, ERC, to help offer a longer-term perspective to the very best. Through the ERC, we are already supporting researchers who relocate to Europe with a top-up beyond their grant. We are now doubling the amount they can receive this year, and I want to extend this support for 2026 and 2027.
Eurosceptic George Simeon emerged victorious in the first round of Romania's presidential election rerun on Sunday as per the partial results. The election, viewed as a measure of the growing influence of Trump-style nationalism within the European Union, saw Simeon leading with around 40% of the vote. Bucharest Mayor Nicuse Dan came in second with approximately 21% votes. Simeon described his victory as a triumph for Romanian dignity, symbolizing hope and belief.
Mă înclin.
I bow to the Romanians outside the country's border who turned out to vote in large numbers and traveled hundreds of kilometers to show that they are proud because they are Romanians. I will remain devoted to them in everything I do because it is not my victory but the victory of the Romanian people. I will keep my word because Romania needs his wisdom and vision and because I do not want power for myself.
Poporului român.
If final results, including votes from the diaspora, confirm this trend, the two will face off in a runoff on May 18th. Benefiting from a wave of popular anger against mainstream leaders, Simeon opposes military aid to neighboring Ukraine, criticizes EU leadership, and says that he's aligned with the US president's Make America Great Again MAGA movement. Leaders of Germany's conservative CDU, CSU and centre-left Social Democratic Party on Monday signed a coalition agreement on the eve of launching their new government. This latest development in Germany paved the way for the formation of a new federal government. Germany's designated Chancellor Friedrich Merz is set to be sworn in as the new leader of Europe's biggest economy and ending half a year of political paralysis in Berlin. The CDU-CSU alliance of mayors and their future junior partners, the Social Democrats, SPD, vowed to revive the ailing economy and rebuild the military. Lars Klingbeil from the Social Democratic Party of Germany is appointed as the upcoming Vice-Chancellor and Finance Minister, while Boris Pistorius from the SPD is set to remain as the Defense Minister.
Den Bürgerinnen und Bürgern heute von dieser Stelle aus sagen.
I would like to take this opportunity to say to the citizens today that if I am elected tomorrow and the cabinet members are subsequently confirmed, you will have a government that is determined to move Germany forward with reforms and investments, a government that will take the concerns of the people in our country seriously.
Eine Regierung, die
In Sri Lanka, more than 70,000 police personnel have been deployed across the nation to ensure a safe and orderly local government elections set to take place on Tuesday. Voters will elect councillors for 339 local councils with over 72,000 candidates vying for positions. Polling will begin at 7 in the morning local time and continue until 4:30 p.m. After polling concludes, ballot boxes will be transported to the counting centres where the vote tallying will begin later in the evening. Election authorities have heightened their surveillance efforts following reports of election violations. Between March 3rd and April 30th, law enforcement arrested 46 candidates and 199 political party supporters for breaching electoral laws. The Election Commission has confirmed that 17.3 million Sri Lankans are eligible to vote in this election, including more than 155,000 first-time voters. Staying in the region, in Bangladesh, a Chittagong court ordered that Chinmoy Krishnadas Brahmachari, a former leader of ISKCON who is currently in prison, be shown arrested in the case filed over the murder of lawyer Saiful Islam Alif. The order was issued on Monday by Chittagong Metropolitan Magistrate S.M. Alauddin Mahmood following a virtual hearing. Chinmoy Das was virtually produced before the court from jail, but no defence lawyer was present on his behalf. The House of Representatives of Nepal held discussions on the government's annual policy and program for the upcoming fiscal year. Prime Minister of Nepal, K.P. Sharma Oli, tabled a proposal for discussion on the policies and programs. A total of 37 proposals have been registered in the Parliament demanding amendments to the government's fresh policies and programs for the fiscal year 2025-26. India's mineral and metal production continues its upward trajectory, with several sectors registering robust growth in the fiscal year 2024-25. According to provisional data, the record production levels achieved in the previous fiscal year, highlighting sustained strong demand across various user industries. Iron ore, which constitutes a significant 70% of total MCDR mineral production by value, has once again broken its previous production record. The non-ferrous metal sector also showcased strong performance. Primary aluminium production reached a new high of 42 lakh tons. These production figures underscore India's prominent position in the global mineral and metal landscape. The nation currently holds the rank of the second largest aluminium producer. And on to sports news now. Updates from the first day of the Khelo India Youth Games underway in Bihar. Updates from the matches in Kabaddi, football and volleyball follow next. In boys Kabaddi, hosts Bihar outclassed Goa 88-14 in a one-sided affair in their opening match. In girls football, Jharkhand annihilated Rajasthan 8-0 in the under-18 event and group stage. In boys volleyball, Rajasthan defeated Manipur 3-2 in their group encounter on the opening day of the Khelo India Youth Games 2025. This is the first time that Bihar is hosting the Khelo India Games. Over 8,500 athletes from all states and union territories are participating in the event. Competitions are being held across 5 cities in Bihar. Overall, athletes will showcase their sporting skills in 28 disciplines. India's squash player Abhi Singh clinched the Haider Trophy with a 3-1 win over Sam Todd of England in New York. The 26-year-old bagged his 11th Professional Squash Association Tour title to cap off a dominant week at the PSA Challenger level event. Abhi Singh's win adds to an impressive run since winning the Asian Games gold medal in the men's team event and a bronze in the mixed team event. Abhi Singh will next compete at the World Squash Championships in Chicago from 9th to 17th of May. And in football, Bayern Munich secured their 34th German league title after rivals Bayer Leverkusen were held to a 2-2 draw at Freiburg, leaving the leaders with an unassailable 8-point lead with 2 games left to play. Leverkusen needed to win on Sunday to maintain any chance of claiming the Bundesliga title after Bayern drew 3-3 at RB Leipzig. The Bavarians will be presented with the league trophy on Saturday in their last home game of the season against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Bundesliga top scorer Harry Kane, who won his first major title at the age of 31, posted a video of himself and his teammates singing, "We are the champions." Bayern will take part in the new format Club World Cup starting in June in the United States. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And for those on the go, you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.